Hello everybody. I've been telling you guys I was going to share with you a quick way to make a pant pattern, a pant sloper from your skirt pattern. So here I have my size 8 skirt sloper, and I have my fresh pattern paper, and of course I'm going to start out by tracing my a few things from my sloper so that I can get it out of the way. I'm not going to be changing my side seam here, so I can go ahead and just trace that. I'm also not going to be changing the waist, so I can go ahead and I can trace that. And now in the center front, I'm going to go all the way down to my hip line, okay? And I'm going to stop there because I'm going to be making some changes from that point. The rest of it, the pattern down here, just depends on how wide or how long you want your pattern to be, your pant pattern. So now that I have traced my pattern and I've stopped at the hip line, I want to go ahead and extend this down a little bit further, and there we go. All right, so now this is all I need from my skirt pattern. Okay, I'm going to take that up. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put in my hip line. Okay. All right, this is my hip line. Okay, this is the center here of my front pattern. So this would be the center of my pants as well. So when you do a pant pattern, you need some measurements, a few more than you would need for the skirt. You need to have a crotch length and a crotch depth. Okay, so you should already have those, your crotch length and your crotch depth. Okay, so from the waist down to the crotch is the first measurement that we're going to be putting in. Okay, so that measurement is taken with a person sitting down on a flat surface, and you take your tape measure and measure from the natural waist down to the seat of the surface at the side seam. Okay, so the person is sitting on a flat surface, and you are at the side seam at the side of the person, and you're measuring from the natural waist down to the bottom of the flat surface. Okay, and that should give you the crotch depth. How far away from the waist does the crotch start? Very important that we take these measurements accurately. That would be the crotch depth. Okay, so the crotch, of course, is below the hip line, and for this size 8, the crotch depth is 8 inches. Okay, so I'm going to mark here for the crotch depth. All right, now the crotch length. Okay, that's the second measurement. That measurement is taken from between the legs, from the belly button in the front, your natural waist, between the legs and up to that bone right in the back of your back. Okay, so it's between the legs from the belly button to that bone back there in the back of your back. Okay, all right, and that is divided in an amount, and it's going to depend on the shape of the person how long that is. All right, very important for fit. And also note that the it is going to be longer in the back than it is for the front. Okay, most of the time on the average. Okay, your crotch length will be longer in the back than it is in the front. Here is what you use in a quick formula like we're using today, is that we've got our crotch depth. For the crotch length, we're going to take this measurement, the hip line, a quarter of the hip line, and divide it by 4. That's going to give us our extension for our crotch length. Okay, in other words, I'm going to take this measurement here, it's 9.5, divide 9.5 by 4. Okay, and then I'm going to take that amount, which is about a little bit over 2 inches, and I'm going to come down to the crotch line here and put that amount, add that out, 2.25 about. Okay, and that will be the crotch. And I'm just going to square line across and make this the label this. This is the crotch line. Okay, so now I've got that out there. The next thing I'm going to do is measure from the waist down to the crotch, which was 8, and find the midpoint, put a mark there. Okay, then I'm going to give myself another little guideline, because now I'm getting ready to draw it in, and I'm just going to make sure I've got my ruler here and that it is at the right angle here, see it? And I'm going to just drawing my line there. Okay, now I can take my curved ruler and touching all the right points, touching here, and the end of my line, I can use my curved ruler as a guide and go ahead and draw in my crotch line. Look at that, beautiful. Got it in, right? Wonderful. Now, the rest of this depends on your other measurements you need for drafting pants, which would be your circumference measurements around your ankle, around your knee, and around the thigh. Okay, so here you would, once you have those measurements, say for instance here we would be at the thigh. I'm going to mark that in. Okay, we would have half of the thigh here, and we're going to call this the quad. I believe this was 9. Okay, then we're going to take our curved ruler and connect those points. Okay, all right, and then the rest of the pattern, depending upon if you're making how long they're going to be, the rest of the pattern would be straight down, right? This is the quick way to do this. Just blend those lines together and you have the front. Now, you need to have the other measurements, and the best way if you're doing a complete pattern, say you're drafting and you start off without the skirt, then you would make sure that you would use this line here, which right is between the dart, and on each side of this line would be an even amount for every part. Say for instance here this would be half. If the quad was 6, there would be 3 on this side, 3 on this side. Then when you get to the knee, if the knee was 4, there would be 2 here and 2 here. Okay, and then you would, once you did the ankle divided on this same line, then you would connect all those points here. Okay, and then on the front. Okay, so basically all we did is to take our skirt sloper, and we know that it fits all the way up here in the waist and here at the hip. We know it fits, we don't have to worry about that. And then we added in our measurements we need in addition to our skirt measurements, so which would be our crotch depth from the waist down to the crotch, gives us our crotch line, and then the crotch length. How far out from the center does our crotch go? And in the front, we did divided this by 4. We came up with a little bit over 2 inches, and that was our extension. Found the halfway point here, gave ourselves a little 1-inch guideline here, used our curved ruler, connected them both, and basically we have our skirt sloper. So this is the way to use the skirt to do it. You can do it by just taking the measurements that we discussed, the crotch length, the crotch depth, around the thigh, around the knee, around the ankle, and the length of the pant, the desired length of the pants. And from there, with those measurements, you can draft and make a sloper just like you did for the other basic 5 pattern pieces. All right. I hope that this was interesting, and I hope you try it at home, practice, and I'll see you next time. Take care.